Hi, I am Carlos Carrera and I designed the lesson plan number 4, which the current topic that is present perfect for first bachelor A. And this class will have been taught in the November 5th of this year. What I am trying to achieve with this lesson is that the students will be able to listen to sentences and conversations and identify the present perfect. Tell sentences or events using present perfect. Read text and identify the present perfect in them. And of course, writing sentences that use the present perfect. The method that I am going to use is that the presentation, practice, and production methods, also known as PPP method. I will use this method because I think that this is an appropriate method or approach to present a lesson. My strategies will be work in pairs and project. So let's start with the explanation of this planification or lesson. After greeting my students, I will start asking what they have been doing. You hear that? Then I will show some flashcards and ask some students to answer the question that they have. After that, I will place the flashcards on the board and write the theme for the class, present perfect, and explain how we use the present perfect. You know, the basic explanation that we do in every lesson or new class for them. Okay. After the explanation, I will ask again the question on the flashcards because the previous answers were, for example, have you ever kissed a girl? And of course that if they don't remember the present perfect, their answers would have been no, yes. Have you ever done this? Yes and no. But now, if I ask the questions, they will try to use the present perfect. And also, I will motivate the students to make their own examples too. Know that to see if they understood well the class or the lesson. Later, I will tell them that we are working on page 24, exercise 1, in which they will listen to an audio and complete using present perfect. On the same exercise, on the same page, exercise 2, they will listen again an audio and they have to complete the sentences and fill a grammar chart. To know the basic rules of the present perfect. Only if they didn't pay too much attention to the class, they will have some heavy in the book, of course. Then they will work in pairs in which each student will make a quick survey and his partner must answer it. Also, they will work on a worksheet in which they will change the current sentences to a present perfect sentence. Finally, they will have a project in which they will work in groups of 5 students at least and make a campaign in which they will promote it to the class. To illustrate better these activities, I will take some example of them. For example, work in the page 24, the exercise 1. Have you ever read a good book recently? And of course, they will have a good book recently. So The answer has to be, they have to complete with, have you ever read a book? Okay? On exercise 2, they will find exercise AI, a blank, Sophie's word, and another blank. And if they hear the audio, it would say, I read Sophie's word last year. So the missing words are read and last year. The working pairs would be like student A asks, have you been on French? And the student B have to answer yes, no, or instead of French, have you been in Italy, for example? The student B can ask, have you met a famous person? And the student can say yes or no whether he met or not a person. And let's continue. Working on a worksheet. For example, the exercise 1, I saw a penguin. Hmm. And the present perfect tense would have been I have seen a penguin. And they have to do other examples like this, nothing too much complicated to the students and to not stress too much the students. Okay. The project. They have to do this commercial or campaign. For example, have you ever wondered how your life can change using this? Has your friend ever done this? And like that, that the commercials that we see on the TV or in public. Okay, these activities will have been developed in the following phases. The guided practice. For guided practice, a student will work on page 24, exercise 1, in which they will listen to an audio and they will complete the sentence and answer the question that they discovered while trying to complete them. In the same page, they will work on exercise 2, in which they will listen to the same audio and will complete another sentences. And also they will fill the chat, as I said, to remember better the grammar. Finally, they will work in pairs in which they will ask questions to their partners using the present perfect. As I mentioned before too, the survey that they have to do to their friends, to their partners that are next to them, or even me as a teacher. For the independent practice phase, a student will have to work on a worksheet, but this will have to be done as a homework because for a matter of time, well, some activities cannot be developed inside the classroom, in which they will change the sentences to a present perfect sentences. As I say, the example of the penguin, I saw a penguin, I have seen a penguin, and like that. For assessment, well, they have their project in which they will make a campaign, they will promote it using the present perfect. This is a good way to incentivize the students to working in groups. Also, I have to mention that a worksheet is a great tool that allows us to assess the students too, to see how their performance has improved or need to improve a little more. And yes, I use book because I believe that the book is a practical tool that allow us to work more with the students. They have more activities, and if the students didn't pay too much attention to us, they could always follow the guide of the book. Finally, for the closing review, and until the class is done or finished, I will ask the student if there is any doubt and make extra exercise to reinforce the knowledge. to create some apps and to make them practice more. That so they will be sure that they have already learned the lesson, or to see if they need more practice for another class. And yes, that was my class for present perfect.